All right, welcome back, all of you, for this next session, which is associated with debatable essays. So, what are debatable essays? When we start with this given subsegment, right? Now, here, when we are talking about what are debatable essays, we need to understand that UPSC loves to give debatable essays once in a while, because with respect to debatable essays, it gives you the possibility of understand, question, debate the validity of a given statement, whether it is complete in itself or not. You are able to contest a statement, whether it is complete in itself or not. Okay. So the ideal procedure of like handling a debatable essay is like you can consider the possibility whereby you are like, let's say, you're finding like first and foremost why the statement is given. Okay, so the moment you find the statement, first and foremost you question the purpose of the statement, and when you are trying to understand the purpose of the statement, you will validate the statement. Validate, as in you will substantiate why is it correct, or partly correct, what is the context of it. So validate with its relevant context. Okay, that means in simple language, why is it correct? Why is it partly correct? And then after that, you will change the para, and then you will discuss, you'll counter the statement. Then you counter the statement by highlighting the limitation. Okay, by highlighting the limitation, by highlighting the limitation of the statement, that what is delimited, what is not discussed in the statement. So you highlight the limitation of the given statement, what it is not incorporating in itself, right? And after that you provide a balanced stance, a balanced understanding, or we can say after a balanced understanding or a balanced approach. All right, so a balanced understanding or a balanced approach. All right, so good evening and welcome all of you, all those who have just joined. So when we are talking about a debatable essay, we are supposed to go with these three steps. First and foremost, we are like supposed to discuss the purpose of the statement, that why such a statement is proposed, why is it correct. So you have to validate it. Okay, why it is partly correct, you have to come up with this. Then counter the statement, talk about the limitation. Okay, talk about what is wrong. Okay, how it's incorrect, or we can say how it is insufficient, right? So bring out that segment, that logic. Again, also provide a balanced understanding of the statement, what actually ought to be there, right? Now what will happen is, I'll show you the topic and you might feel disillusioned initially, because I have kept certain philosophical topics to begin with, like customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. You're like, okay, I can do this, maybe, but then reality does not conform to the ideal but confirm it. So, like, if I don't understand a topic, how can I debate it? So that's why, for the purpose of creating ease, I picked some very old topic, 1993, as old as that. And see this. Men have failed. Let women take over. You can see this. Men have failed. Let women take over. I hope you can debate on this one, right? Then you can graduate to the 2017 level. Fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. Is it actually a debatable topic, or isn't it true? Or social media is inherently a selfish medium, right? And then you will be capable of dealing with philosophical topics like these. Reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. And once you cross this level, then I will be taking you to the 2022 level. Okay, 2021, 2022 level. So bit by bit, gradually, you will be heading to the correct zone, right? So I have already explained it to you that how debatable essays ought to be handled. So first and foremost, you need to understand the purpose of the topic. After understanding the purpose, then the counter statements. And after the counter statement, then you can come up with balanced understanding or approach, right? So let us understand first the purpose, then counter the statement, and then the balanced insight that should get into the given topic, right? So let us reflect upon this one. Men have failed, let women, like, okay, no problem, Yamya. Okay, so this topic which is there, like men have failed, let women take over, right? So, like, and that's why I'm starting with the easiest of them, because the moment you see this topic, you're like, oh, yes, it is debatable. At least you're not questioning, debatable, what is debatable? You see, you're like, yes, it's wrong. We can always debate this statement, right? So there are three segments to it, as I have just explained to all of you. So, first and foremost, you will be reflecting upon what? So, you will be reflecting upon the purpose of this statement, why this statement is given. Yes? Okay. Start talking. Men have failed. Let women take over. Why do you think this statement might be correct? Now, here, a lot of you will, when you are participating, you will have to like type very quickly, because that's how we are establishing a connect. Also, I will enable the live call facility. All right. So I have enabled the live call. Anyone interested to make a call and discuss, I'm open for that. Okay. Yes. So men have failed. Let women take over. Let us reflect upon this. People, move. Let's see what can be created. Wars, world wars are created by men. Agreed. Due to atrocities done by men. Yes, agreed. Okay. So we can say like human rights violation is what Abhinav you're pointing. Nitin is talking about it in terms of like war and world wars, right? Okay. Good evening, Sahil. So when we are having this debatable essay, first we are talking about the purpose, or we can say how, like we can say we can validate the statement. So validate the statement. So in this given statement, we all can see when it is saying men have failed, let women take over. So you are talking about wars, you are talking about crime, you are talking about, like, let's say human rights violation. What else? What else? Compassion and kindness. Okay, Chituri. Fine. But compassion and kindness is the reason because of which we are saying men have failed? Is it what you are saying? The 75 years of independence have not promised overall development. We are failing in Human Development Index. In general, we can say that statement is correct, but the topic, you have to validate it from the perspective of the topic. Women surpassing men's by education, by educating. So do you want to say that women education, if it is more than that of men, then women will be successful and men will fail? That means if women education is less than men, then women will fail, going by that logic. Sian. Okay, politics, women leadership example in tackling COVID-19, Finland, Germany. Okay, Akanksha. So you are talking about also in the process of validating. So you are talking about men with respect to war crimes. And when we are speaking of women, you are talking about COVID crisis leadership. And here you are bringing in the insight associated with Finland, and you are also talking about Germany, and probably I can also add few more countries like Vietnam, and I can talk about New Zealand, right? Women are facing lot of difficult in our society. Okay, Karti. Women making footprints in every field, challenging men, giving a tough competition. Okay, Sabah. So you are saying that women competing and challenging men. So competing, challenging in all walks of life. Women contributing into Chandrayaan. Okay, so Chandrayaan. Then you can think of no, I mean, like, okay, Parliamentary representation has always been male centric. Okay, men have failed. So parliamentary representation and decision making. So okay, all right. Something more that we all can talk about. Women can help men when, like, he gets stuck in life. Okay, that's a solution. Fine. Ruchi, I have shared a tentative structure, how you have to start thinking. If you were, as I can see, you joined the session late. So I had discussed how you have to start thinking about a debatable essay. A debatable essay, first you have to discuss about the purpose of the topic, how the topic is correct or why is it given, how is it relevant, even by distant scale. Why is it relevant? Because if it is debatable, it's not that only one side will be correct. There has to be a counter argument for the other side as well. So how is it correct? And then with respect to this, we can see that the counter statement highlighting that, like, the given possibilities, and then balancing the statement per se, right? Men dominated society is still tackling in giving more chances to women. Okay, crime on women, family leading women taking over in so many family. Okay, okay, all right, fine, fine. What else? Women reservation bill, women representation in bureaucracy can reduce corruption. Nitika, now as this point you are giving, that women's representation in bureaucracy can reduce corruption, what is the backing of this fact? What is the backing of this fact? Because the moment you'll back it, it will become a very profound statement related to counter argument. That will be, like, in the purpose, why is the statement partly correct, you'll be able to prove that. Can you prove it? Men do external work more, not household. I mean, that's a fact. Support, all right. With respect to this, with respect to this, a balanced approach, absence of both the genders in the society, and many result in an irregular balance, but also domination of one gender can also lead towards one sided perspective in life. Okay, yes, very true. When you're counter giving a counter argument, that insight is profound and that has to be given, that has to be substantiated. Agreed. Contribution of our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, which is prominent, most of her male counterpart. Okay, all right, all right. Something more, people, with respect to this statement. Men have failed, let women take over. When we are talking about this, like, debatable topic, and when I'm starting with the easy one, the easiest of all. Truth is this: you don't have to struggle that how is this topic debatable. You all can sense it is debatable beyond doubt. And with respect to this, then only we will be able to do philosophical essays which are debatable. First, simpler ones. Yes. So, for anything, women can't distribute more likely than men. Huh? What does that mean? Ma'am, because women generally hesitate in taking or giving bribe. Ah, that's then. How about puja singles of our system? There are a lot of puja singles also, no? Domestic violence, patriarchy, deep rooted. Okay. So you are saying domestic violence, you are connecting it with impact of patriarchy. So some profound insights. An opening statement: men are from Mars and women from Venus. Can we cite an example of this? Yeah, you can do that if you have something like that. See. Okay, so that's how you are thinking that you're going to substantiate. Under men, freedom, liberty, equality, fraternity has also come in light. Okay, fine, fine. So let us say, this is what you are able to think with respect to validating the statement. Okay, or like we can say pro or for the statement. That this is how you're saying you're proving how men have failed and how women should take over, right? This is what all of you are focusing on. Okay, let me give a flip. Let me create a flip. My question is, if I discuss against, if I go ahead with the segment pertaining to against the statement, how will we substantiate it, people? How will we substantiate it? against the statement, if I'm substantiating it accordingly. Yes, people, against the statement. Yes, many women use their rights for ill causes. Okay, so poor or corrupted or compromised leadership from women. Fine, Abhinav. Yes. Fake feminism, extreme approach. Yes, true. Fake feminism. And society reaches as it is today in dominance of men. Huh? You want to say that development is possible through male leadership? That's what you are saying, Nitin? Most of the women are not allowed her daughter to go outside for education. So, Ashwin, are you saying that you're blaming women for not creating empowerment? Ashwin, are you saying that? Society reaches as it is today. Uh, okay, no, both. Okay, all right. Military and physical work. Okay, military and physical work. And Ashwin is saying higher education, impediment, and in impediment, he is blaming the mother and daughter both. Mother as well as daughter. Both are to be blamed. I'll be taking up a critical reflection of all these points soon. Society treats women very softer eyes, whereas treats men with very harsh steps, creating inequality. Yo, Abhinav, this is something which was asked this time in essay. We'll be taking that up, but soon. Like, because we cannot jump suddenly. That will be like sometimes shocking for a lot of beginner students. Domestic violence by women. Okay, good, good, good. So, domestic violence, women. Okay, women being proxy candidates at grassroots level despite reservation, patriarchal notion prevails. All right. So, proxy candidates with respect to Panchayati Raj institution and despite reservation and equity should be maintained, not just equality. Okay, Samima. So, um, women shouldn't have power over men but over themselves. Okay, power over others versus power over self. Why to let women take over? Rather, provide equal platform. Okay, very good, Mathu. So, equal platform. Okay, proxy seen even in primary schools. Okay, men contribute for many social reforms. Okay, now with a formidable set of points coming from your side, let me give you a sizable take associated with these points. First and foremost, as you were talking about, like why such a topic has been proposed, a topic like men have failed, let women take over. Now, have is too deterministic. If you see this, too deterministic, there is no space or scope for debating. Men can fail, women should be allowed to participate, let there be competency. No, not a language like this. Men have failed, it is deterministic, they have failed. Let women take over. The topic is proposing that let women take on the leadership. Now, with respect to this, let's say like majority of the wars, okay, majority what, all I can say, all wars and crimes are somewhere designed due to the decision making of the men. They have been fought by men. Human rights violation, we all can see it is somewhere associated with, we can consider men. right? So human rights violation, we can connect with that given subsegment as well, right? We can think of parliamentary representation when we are talking about it. In parliamentary representation as well, we all can like see this given possibility that like there is a dominance of men. So all good, bad decisions, whatever is there. So like we can say majority of the decisions, majority of the decisions are a byproduct of like male leadership, right? So male leadership, again we can see that so anything going wrong that goes against them. Not only domestic violence, we can say all types of violence, gender violence, all types of gender violence, you can recall that's something which is created by them. Impact of patriarchy, yes. Then so men have failed, how and why and in which domain is what should have been discussed in the purpose to validate the statement. So how, why, okay, we can think of men have failed, how and why they have failed. Okay, then we would be validating the statement. Simultaneously, how and why women should take over. Okay, so again this segment, how and why, means are women competent to take over, how they can take over, why they can take over. If we are speaking of this given statement, with respect to this, we can talk about the given dimension associated with, like, let's say, women. Please mind it, it's a debatable topic. I have yet not started with the counter argument. So that's something which we all can understand. Okay. And with respect to this, we all can like understand and reflect the given like sub segments whereby we are trying to balance the act. So first we are talking about how this statement can be considered somewhere validated, somewhere correct. Now, women, when we are talking about the COVID crisis leadership, one of your friends discussed in Finland, in Germany, there was a profound leadership whereby the problem of COVID was contained. Yes, it happened in Vietnam and New Zealand as well, that with profound leadership coming from women, we could see there was a containment of the infection more successfully, right? Again, we can see the insights coming from, like, let's say, competing or challenging insights which women suffer from, and yet they have proved their mark. We can see their advancement in science and technology. Okay, we can see their participation in, because first I have to prove that, let women take over, right? So we can talk about this macro level decision making. If I'm talking about the countries, it is associated with what? It is related to macro decision making at higher level. From macro, I can connect it also to micro. Micro means grassroots level, so I can connect it with the self-help group experiments. 90% of the self-help groups are associated with women, which are relatively far more successful than male leadership. Again, we can see that with the participation of women in self-help groups, greater transparency has been ensured in the system. Like, for example, we all can connect it with, like, let's say, um, the dimension related to, like, let's say, the women. And when I'm giving this explanation, especially all those students who are joining in between, go patient, it's a debatable essay. Okay, and you don't have any clue that what discussion is going on. Be patient, be present for 5-10 minutes, you'll understand what's going on. Now, so when we are talking about the micro level participation of women with respect to the self-help groups, we all can see, I mean, latest data, if I speak of it, we all can see that with like the Chhattisgarh model, which was studied by the Princeton University scholars. So they said that with female participation at grassroots level for food distribution, it was found that with almost 90% precision and transparency, food grains were distributed, which proved that women's participation at grassroots level leadership brings, we can say, greater efficacy. And when women are participating at grassroots level leadership, they are able to bring on, like, a lot of, we can say, insights. They are able to bring on a lot of, uh, we can say, wisdom, and they are able to ensure greater transparency, greater accountability. So you can think about from macro to micro level leadership with better transparency, better decision making. It can be considered that women can take over. So that is like for the statement when you are validating the statement. Counter the statement, change the para, substantiate why it is wrong. Okay. And when we are saying why it is wrong, so now, like the moment you are talking about it, we can say that corruption is not an engendered fact, that a man would only go corrupt. Any person, a man or a woman, who's not guided in the light of human values can go wrong. So, a person who's not guided by human values, that's what you should have spoken. Okay. So, human values, if not enshrined, if not protected, if not enshrined, the possibility of corruption, or we can say compromised possibility, can occur, and it can happen from any like gender. The leadership can come from men or women, both can go corrupt, both can become corrupt. So it's not an engendered possibility that a man will be more corrupt or a woman will be more corrupt. It is all about who is getting motivated by which set of values. That is something which will bring about the difference. Okay. So when we are speaking of it, we can consider the segment of corruption with respect to how the individual is getting exposed to the various possibilities of one's existence. Simultaneously, we can reflect upon the given dimension of the military, or we can talk about the, we can say, the physical work that individuals can be exposed to. So with respect to this given dimension, again we can think of, we can say, the military work or the physical work nowadays in various walks of life. First, there is a lot of mechanization, and other than mechanization, a lot of work is supported by technology. And third, we can see that women have become competent counterparts in, like for example, the army has weapon maintenance section, and with respect to the weapon maintenance, we have women officers who are taking care of it. We can also see the possibility of border security force, paramilitary, ITBP, okay, BSF having women battalion and working successfully. So when we are speaking of the given dimension of women cannot be competent participants, it's not so. And when we are saying that men have failed, it is also not so. Why? Because a lot of social reforms, scientific advancements, right? So they have been created by men, right? So when we are talking about the possibility of change, men have articulated a lot of change at grassroots level when we speak of it. Okay. So when we are talking about this given dimension, we all can connect it with these given points, these given segments, right? So, when we are talking about men have failed, let women take over, we need to understand this given possibility, that why and how men have failed. Okay, and why and how like women can take over, that's pro for the topic. Then counter the argument, say that men have not necessarily failed in all walks of life. And we cannot generalize. This generalization is also too imbalanced. Not all men have failed, and not all men have violated the human rights or created a challenge at grassroots level. When we speak of like male participation, and when we speak of the kind of intervention that can be carried forward, we all can see the kind of possibility which men can bring with their leadership. So, with respect to that, you can just connect with this given idea that when we are talking about men have failed, how this given subsegment associated with men have failed is not so correct, or it is not so balanced per se. Women come out for their rights. I mean, all of them, men, women, all of them should come out for their rights. So men have failed. Again, it's a like counter the statement. Talk about a lot of contributions done by men, and let women take over. So with respect to this statement, you can always counter it, that why to take over, why not to create a competence. Okay, why not to create a level playing field for all. That is something which you can talk about, and then change the para, and then create a balanced possibility, that let men and women get a competent chance to build upon their skills, to build upon their caliber, to build upon their capability further. They should be given a level playing field to realize their aptitude and participate accordingly. Furthermore, with their contributions being duly recognized as per the contribution, so the rewards ought to be designed or should be extended. That's how you can, consolidate. That's how you can, support the given content. So, in context of freedom struggle of India, maximum freedom fighters were male. Yes, so very true. That was there. You can speak of that, but the thing is, how many women were given the opportunity when Mahatma Gandhi encouraged the people to let their wives, daughters, mothers step out? And when Gandhi ji started leading the movement and he started encouraging the possibility of women to participate and step out, that is how bit by bit people started participating. Bit by bit, we all can see that people started coming forward when we are talking about this dynamics. Okay, Nitin, so we cannot say that, we cannot give the credit to men that they participated more. Had it been so that men and women were provided equal level playing field to start with in terms of freedom struggle, and then women chose not to participate, then we could have used this statement. Okay, so when we are creating a balanced conclusion from a debatable topic, that's how we extract the information. Got it, all of you? Yes. Now, so as we are further moving ahead with respect to this given statement, you are finding this now easy. See this one, 2017. Fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. So first and foremost, we'll try to identify who is the new woman. Yes, people, who is the new woman? Let us see. What is your sense of understanding pertaining to new woman? Yes, people. Yes. Who is the new woman? New woman is independent. Okay, all right. Other than that, yes, what else can we consider? What else can we consider? Modern day woman. Okay, independent, modern day woman. Something more, something more, something more that can be associated with it. People having aspiration to achieve her dreams, wants to explore the world on her own, educated women who are ready to challenge the society, getting out of the norms. Okay, explore the world on her own. Fine, educated. Chituri, what do you imply by the word educated? So, who have the thinking to change the society. Okay, all right. Yes, fulfillment of new woman in India. So, do you consider that a new woman is the one who is, like, let's say, is educated and is employed? So, how about all our mothers who might not be educated, so educated, or who might not be employed? Like, necessarily every mother is employed or getting associated with a job. Yeah. How about those women? Are they not new women? Can we consider they are not new women? UN definition of empowered woman can be considered: ability to make decisions, access to resources, ability to influence social change, sense of self image, control over their lives. Good, good, good. Yes, Samhita, we can use this. Respecting others' right as well, but they are aware of the developments. Yes, educated women can educate whole generation. Yeah, all that is impact, Jyoti. We are talking about who is she. See, this idea of new woman is not necessarily associated with educated women. Educated means literate. I do not imply to say she has high levels of literacy. May not be so literate. Educated women, by educated women, I do not imply to say that she is in high profile jobs, maybe associated with some very regular jobs, odd jobs, right? We have to understand that. See, I had, like, my previous cook auntie. She was there with me for a prolonged time period, 2007 to 17, almost 10 years of being together with each other. Nurtured me like a mother, and she was, in fact, 2 3 years senior to my mother. Now she must be in her late 60s, because my mother is 65. So Cook auntie was, she was there with me. Caroline auntie, she was there with me for a sizable time period. And you know, when after like 10 years, what I mean, couple of years only, you know a person and you develop a sense of emotional connect. So I told auntie that, listen, I'm ready to support you, I'm ready to stand for you. You tell me, you just tell me, like, you know, this given insight, just give me this given insight associated with what kind of, like, let's say, like breakthrough should be created for you. In 17 I said, why don't you, like, I was shifting actually from the previous area, I was moving to another area. So I requested her that, auntie, why don't you come along with me? There are 3 bedrooms, you can take one of the bedroom and you can use that washroom, and you can just stay in that room, so you'll have your own privacy, no one will interfere, and, like, you know, you'll have your own space. And most importantly, you're growing old, so I can take care of you. Because her she had 4 children, 2 staying in Delhi, 2 not staying in Delhi, and not so empowered children who would take care of their mother. So I said, I'll take care of you, and you are always there for me, so it will be great, so why don't you come along with me? To which auntie said that, no beta, you're not understanding that. Now see, what is her response? She says that, see, there is this, like, 2 old ladies for whom I cook. These 2 old ladies are in their late 80s. Both are cousins, they stay together, and I have to cook for them. If I don't go, and imagine she's saying when she's herself 58, 59, and she was like, if I don't go, who will feed them? Right? They will fall ill, who will take care of them? Others can exploit or not take care of the hygiene and stuff, so they can fall ill. So I should stand for them. There's another gentleman who had helped me couple of years back with an LPG gas cylinder. That gentleman, his children are staying in US, and he is in his late 70s, and he is also struggling, like, you know, with health issues, and he also needs, like, a meal fixed in time. And third issue which you are talking about, that is, like, is associated with 2 young children who are in their mid 20s. They are preparing for civil services exam, and they are also doing a job to, like, you know, cover up their needs and necessities. So she said that, these 2 children, I go and then I fix the meals and everything for them. So these children, if I am not there, like their previous cook, she was stealing sugar and, like, you know, the, we can see the, like, tea leaves and this and that, and soap. So she was like, if I'm not there, the kids won't be able to manage. It's I who fixes the vegetables and other things, and, like, you know, etc., etc. So when that was something which was shared, okay, that was something which was shared, when I heard it, I was like, wow, that's something, like, something very touching. Okay, and I was like, this is so sweet that, like, you know, she can think of so many people. And that was one of the profound realizations, that for being a new woman, you don't need to be, like, really young, 17 or 18, chirpy and bubbly. You don't need to be a person who is, like, really educated, having the right degrees, and, like, you can speak in a fancy manner with the right accent. No, not really. For being a new woman, it's not necessary that you are associated with a high profile job, or for that matter, employed at all. You being a household, being a woman associated with household chores, taking care of the household responsibilities, is also a full time job, and that needs to be understood and respected at all times, right? Furthermore, when I, like, reflected upon it, I realized that, like, you know, when we are talking about a new woman, like, I could see that whenever I was sick or anyone in her environment was struggling, she was always standing for that person. So, when we are talking about this idea of a new woman, please be very clear about this given dimension, that a new woman is not necessarily a person who is, like, very exposed, very well read, very highly educated, associated with a very high profile job, has to be an IAS or a judge or a minister or a professor or a lawyer. No, no, no. Even our mothers, in the we can say, living inside the house and taking care of household chores, can be new women if they are aware of their rights. They are listening to everyone's advice, suggestions, but deciding for their own. Women who are standing for people around them, okay, and they are ready to empower them. They are ready to, like, create a breakthrough for all these people, all of them. Okay, they have a sense of understanding of what are their rights, what are their desires, what are their aspirations, and they are able to control them, regulate those possibilities. When we speak of a new woman, these are the characteristics of a new woman. New woman does not necessarily mean that she is, like, very high profile, she is high flying, she's, like, doing a lot of things. No, not really. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, why am I saying that this specific topic is debatable? Here rises the question. Yes, why is this topic debatable according to you? Okay, so you're saying that because of the word myth. Okay, all right. So it's happening so because of the word myth. Something else? Something else that we all can connect with? Okay, new woman versus old woman. Okay, all right, all right. um New women are around us. Calling it a myth is debatable. Okay, fine. So actually the debate is associated with the term myth only, as correctly pointed by all of you. What is the meaning of myth, people? All those who are able to understand that. Yes, what is a myth? What do we understand by the term myth? What is your understanding? Imaginary? Not true? Okay, fine. Actually, myth is something which cannot be proved. Cannot be proved or cannot be validated on ground. Okay. So assumption having no reality, a assumption that cannot be proved. It may have its own reality, it may have its own social cultural influence, but details and little subcomponents associated with it cannot be validated with facts, cannot be substantiated. Okay, so that's something which we all can connect when we are talking about cannot be proved. Like mermaids, w- yeah, we can consider that is also a myth, but something more can be connected with this given area, right? So when we are speaking of this fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, with respect to this given area, we all can, talk about certain subsegments, and then we all can work upon it. So with respect to this, we all can talk about, like, let's say, the given dimension of, like, few components, and then we can, like, do the homework accordingly related to it. So when I'm saying fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, that means fulfillment means realization of new woman in India is a myth. Myth means cannot be proved, cannot be validated. The moment I say realization of new woman in India is a myth, that means she doesn't exist. So the moment I say that the statement is suggesting that new woman doesn't exist, so new woman, do we have new women in the society? Yes. And if we have them, so calling it a myth becomes debatable just because of this term. Had it been written, fulfillment of new woman in India is a very big challenge. If this was written, fulfillment of new woman in India is a very big challenge, we would have accepted it. This was not debatable because due to patriarchy, okay, patriarchy, we can consider that it is actually a very big challenge. But the moment we accept myth, we deny, we deny the existence, we deny the existence of all women who prove contrary to this belief, contrary to the belief. Okay. Women who are actually new women, new women of our society. Okay. So, present day new women, we deny the existence of them. The moment we are, like, let's say, talking about the given possibility of myth, and just because of the word myth means traditional story, that's mythology, logy, mythology. So it's not a traditional story technically. It is a part of our oral tradition, it is a part of our culture, it is a part of our, we can say, belief systems. Just that it is called mythology because segments of it cannot be validated on ground. Okay, that's why it is called like mythology. A lot of segments which can be a part of our, we can say, written tradition, they become a part of mythology just because of this reason, because certain segments or parts of it cannot be proved on ground. That's the reason. Okay, so that's how we all can connect with this. So fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, right? You all can see this. So this is a debatable topic. How will we handle it? So first and foremost, we'll talk about like why it is a myth, means what are the challenges. What are the challenges? Then we'll discuss how it's not a myth, and we'll talk about successful new women despite challenges. Despite challenges. And then we'll talk about that, how myth is incorrect, but we can say that a very big challenge is completely correct. Is completely correct. Fine. That's how we will be able to substantiate. That's how we will be able to elaborate or substantiate the given subsegments. Right? Is everyone having a fair idea? People, is it making sense? Yes. Good, good, good. Very good. That's how you're supposed to understand. That's how you're supposed to, build a sense of insight related to this given area. Okay, let's move further ahead with respect to this area. Now, fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. So, talk about the challenges, talk about what strengths can be created, talk about the intellectual breakthroughs you can create in this given topic. Thus, move to the next one. Social media is inherently a selfish medium. Yes, first and foremost, for the topic, then we'll talk about against the topic, and then we'll be talking about the balanced precision that comes with against only. So, for the topic, let us see how can we distinguish whether it is debatable essay or a normal essay by understanding and interpreting the statement. Like here, you could see this Sian, that in this given statement, men have failed, let women take over. So men have failed. It was too deterministic. Let women take over was again biased. So the seeing the determinism and bias, we do away with it. Second one, fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. So fulfillment of new woman in India is a very big challenge we all can sense, but is a myth. Myth is like too extreme, too absolute, right? When you are talking about that fulfillment of new woman in India is a very big challenge, you can talk about a lot of interventions. Like you can read the article of Dr. Amartya Sen, and Dr. Sen had discussed about types of gender inequality, and his concept of gender inequality was further updated with a lot of facts of present times. And what were the types of gender inequality which he discussed? He originally gave the concept and the theoretical explanation in 2001. It still holds true. The only thing is, facts have been updated. Like in one, the kind of insights he gave, we can always update the insights with respect to 2023. So first segment which he spoke of was natality inequality, or inequality at birth rate. In natality inequality or inequality at birth rate, he discussed how like a selective sex abortion is responsible for imbalanced sex ratio, or child, like we can see female infanticide, a child being born and is female and is getting killed. So female infanticide was another issue which could be connected to natality inequality. Natality means birth rate, inequality at birth rate. Second he spoke of was associated with mortality inequality, means inequality in death rate. So women, they are victims of violence at any age group. They can be eliminated, killed, they can be molested, raped, like and after that some brutal murder can follow up. There are different types of ways of killing the woman. The most subtle is, suppose she's aging, she's ailing, she's all by herself, and you're not extending medical support to her, you're not providing her medical kit or any healthcare intervention to her. So that is something which can be associated with mortality inequality. Right. So mortality inequality can be associated with poor access to nutrition, healthcare, preventive and curative interventions. Then Amartya Sen spoke of basic opportunity inequality. Basic opportunity inequality was associated with access to basic education and healthcare. In the absence of basic education and healthcare, women tend to suffer and they tend to get marginalized. In the absence of basic opportunity inequality, women cannot work on building their basic aptitude, identifying their talent, becoming competent citizens with respect to the participation that needs to be ascertained for every human being for creative realization. Then, fourth, we can see was associated with special opportunity inequality. When a human being is not able to get access to higher education, so when women are not getting higher education, skill development, that also impacts their nature of participation, and that also impacts the way we can see women being around us. Then after that he spoke of like inequality in ownership. Inequality in ownership, we can see that women have right to property but they are not able to avail the benefits of it. Majority of the women are denied access to property by their very own biological families. Transfer practice, so we all can see witch hunting is one issue. Other than that also we all can connect it with, when we are speaking of this given dimension associated with the component of types of gender inequality, we all can understand that the segment is like inequality in ownership is whereby despite the right to property, a lot of women they get access to movable property in the form of jewelry, and that too like in a limited space. Majority of it is like taken away and by the in-laws, or she may not have access or control over the resources. So those given possibilities can also be connected, right? With respect to this, like uh, I'll substantiate that, Nitin, don't worry. With respect to the sixth segment, it is associated with professional inequality. A woman may be associated with her job, but she may be victim to harassment, violence at workplace. She may get unequal pay for equal work. She may not get promotion in time. There can be challenges associated with, we can say, dress code, working hours, early morning shifts, late evening shifts, shifting, promotion, transfer. Okay, so a lot of issues can be associated with professional inequality for a woman. Then we all can consider the segment associated with, we can say, household inequality. So, in the name of division of labor, women suffer from accumulation of labor. So, if they are working outside, they have to take care of household chores as well as work outside. Both places, her potential will be questioned whether she is a good mother, good wife, or not at home, and whether she is a good employee or not at workplace. Both the places will consider that her energy and efficiency is getting compromised because of being associated with the other domain of life, thus questioning her participation and her potential. That can create mental harassment, that can lead to poor health, that can lead to anxiety, and that can also impact, we can say, overall health and well-being of the woman getting compromised per se. These are the types of gender inequality which Dr. Amartya Sen had discussed and which are relevant even today. And all these types of inequalities does impact the process of development and evolution of a woman into a new woman. Okay, so that's something which needs to be substantiated. Why did I discuss this part very exhaustively? Because a lot of topics are asked related to gender issues and women. So this raw material can help you to build upon the content accordingly. In the absence of content, you cannot really build upon the insights, right? Topics related to role of women, which is taught in GS paper 1, and insights associated with, I would say, um, if any of your friend has sociology optional, so you can take portions without taking names of thinkers. You can lift insights related to, there is the chapter of social stratification. In social stratification, there is a topic of patriarchy. So you can lift the insights related to patriarchy. In also in family marriage kinship, there is a subtopic of patriarchy. So you can lift the insights of patriarchy by doing away the name of thinkers, but you can see the critical reflections. You'll get a lot of idea, because sometimes in GS classes what happens is, you have seen that Indian society this year there was 105 marks question, then social justice 45, so 150 marks, tremendous. One essay 125 marks, but it might get wrapped up in 10 sessions. In 10 sessions there are something like, paper 1 there are 11 topics, paper 2 there are around 7 topics. So going by any justified limit, 18 topics, 10 sessions, you understand, it may get compromised. So from where to like enhance your content, I'm sharing the source. If you're consulting the material or the notes from your optional student friends, don't pay attention to name of thinkers. Do away with all that. But pay attention to critical reflections. They will be thorough. They will be detailed. Because in the end of the day, who is making the question paper? Sociologist for GS. But you have to write general answers, general studies. So in general studies, you don't have to bring in the wisdom of optional by borrowing the name of the thinkers. But you can always take the insights from the thinkers and make it your own and make a critical reflection in essay. Similarly, there is violence against women in paper 2 sociology. Violence against women, a lot of facts, a lot of insights which will hinder the possibility of new woman in India. You can pick those insights, but do away with the word, like with the name thinkers. All the thinkers, just remove. Just read what they are saying. Develop your own insight. Make bullet points, types of violence, segments of violence, interventions for violence, like that. Okay. And along with that, yes, what is taught in GS paper 1, role of women. Club all of it, your comprehensive understanding related to gender issues for essay will be prepared. Because with handful of facts and handful of insights, which is like in couple of pages, writing a wholesome exhaustive essay can be tedious. Follow National Policy for Women 2016 draft. It's barely 25-30 pages. Treat it like a chapter and read that draft like that. There are specific segments dedicated to education of women, health of women, participation of women in different wakes of life, like political uh, participation, governance, and like all the levels of politics. Then economic participation, like in agriculture, industry, service sector, science and technology, all this. Violence against women, there are also a lot of legal interventions that have been taken up, has been enlisted in the policy for women. So you can just go through, you can just run through it. It will be really empowering for all of you. Environmental role of women, that's given quite profoundly over there. So this is what is advisable to all of you. Okay. So then who makes questions? Are they the ones who check the answers? Samaima, the questions are made by the senior central university professors. And the central university professors who are creating the questions, you can consider they are the guiding light. So they are, we can say, the prime invigilators who are not evaluating the paper. They are creating the questions, they are creating, proposing a tentative answer. Okay. And evaluators, a list of them are hired, because 12,000 copies cannot be evaluated by one individual. So there is a team of evaluators. And to remove subjectivity of their evaluation, the evaluators are also initially tested how much marks they are giving. If there is too much of variation between the chief evaluator and the juniors who have to be hired, then they will be removed. Okay. So the ones who are closer to the chief evaluator in terms of patterns of evaluation, they will be hired. The junior evaluator, or rather simply put, the word evaluator, they are also not juniors, as per, like, not even close to my age. They are people in their, like, we can say, early 50s or mid 50s. So senior professors again are evaluating the copies. I hope you got some clarity. So do you face issues regarding late evening shifts? No, not really. I have been working, I travel so exhaustively across India. Not really. It's just that you have to be very upfront, and you have to be very, first and foremost, clear in your head, very courageous and clear in your head. It can be a problem, especially in Delhi, if suppose I'm going for a late night party, some friend's birthday, and suppose if I am at this age also, suppose if I am dressed up in, uh, like, some party going clothes, something like very like casual evening clothes, and I will be a little conscious. But if I have to return late, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, my radar will be on. I'll be like really alert, like that. Okay, because there's no age for getting molested. You just have to be very alert, and you have to be particular. That's why you should, like, if you're going to a sea beach in some foreign country and dressing up differently, that's a different thing. If you are, like, let's say, going to some other country or other part of India, like let's say you're going to Goa, you're dressing up differently, that's okay. Even in Andamans, it's okay. But like here in Delhi, you have to be a little particular about how you carry yourself. Okay. So it's about, like, I would say, the conduction, the, like, the choice of everything, choice of, like, clothing, choice of words, way of interaction, overall assertiveness. If you're looking timid, meek, like really coy, like really huddled up and bundled up, again you can become a victim. You have to be assertive, you have to be fierce, you have to be clear, you have to be distinct. You need to come across as a person who is like, not going to mince her words if any kind of infringement upon the rights would occur. So that is the kind of attitude you need to carry for your own safety. And I mean, you will become officers, all you young girls in the class, or the boys, you will find your colleagues, your friends who are becoming officers. So any woman who is going to become an officer, definitely, I mean, the hostility will be there in the society, but you have to be very clear about the body language you have to carry continually. No one else is going to stop you, and the society, including sometimes relatives or parents or neighborhood, will give you hundreds of reasons how to behave, quote unquote, properly. You, being a sane adult person, can always choose what is, quote unquote, proper or improper. That is how you become a new woman. You're not taking dictats of the society. You are capable to understand what is the do's and what is the don'ts, and how you can carry yourself in a comfortable frame of being. I would say, like, presently my optional batch is going on, so I'm not traveling so much. But between January to June, when my optional batch, like, is over most of the times, so That is the time period, like almost like, except COVID, I like travel at least to like one or two countries. And then like between I would say Jan to June, for lectures I travel at least to 4 to 5 cities at least. Then I go to visit my parents place, so you can add sixth city. And maybe a place to chill, because after like teaching so much, I may have like to travel again to some place to chill, to relax for holiday. So at least 6 to 7 cities are touched within 6 months span. I'm literally living out of my suitcase and flying from one place to other, 10 days here, 20 days here, again 10 days here, and like that. So it's perfectly comfortable, and life has been quite, I would say, smooth and kind. God has been kind for decades together now, right? And I have been out since I was 17-year-old. So, and I have been managing life by myself since then. So I believe that you need to trust women. You need to tell them about what are the potential threats, challenges, how to carry in which society, and how to present yourself in which society, because every place has its own dynamics of presentation, of assertiveness, of participation. You cannot have one is to all model that this version is what I'll carry in all places. No, not really. So that fluidity ought to be there, and that smartness needs to be there. Anyway, let's like reflect upon all those given dimensions. When I come up with solution, everything gets clear. But you're not able to come up with more than 4 to 5 points, because Nitin, GS preparation is still left. Like you still need to fix the details as the topics would be clarified from general studies perspective, right? So that's how you would be building upon the various subsegments accordingly, right? Okay, now so keep building upon the basics, keep building upon the content bit by bit, by and by. So that's how you will be able to present more effectively, okay, more exhaustively. That's how you will be able to connect with the given possibilities. What is NI? NI is natality inequality, Chituri. The moment you'll find no Dr. Amartya Sen types of gender inequality, the frontline article will open. Okay, you'll find access to it on the internet. First one will be natality inequality, second will be mortality inequality. Okay, all the details you'll find. The only thing you have to do is update it with current facts, update it with contemporary issues and challenges. That's how you make theory relevant for the present context. Can you take the name of Amartya Sen in the exam? Yes. GS also optional, also both. Essay also. Essay anyway you quote. You'll be like, in GS, how can I take name of thinker? You only had said, ma'am, don't take the name of thinker. Amartya Sen is an exception to the rule. Why? GS paper 2, social justice, year is 2015 or 16. Either of it, probably 16. UPSC took the name of Amartya Sen and asked a question in paper 2, that according to Amartya Sen, primary education and primary health care are basic requisites like for human development. So discuss the status of, like, both in the country, whatever. But the name of Dr. Amartya Sen was taken and a question was asked. Okay. So that's how you understand this given dimension. I hope that's getting clear. Ma'am, during the debatable topics, we first do is 3 dimensions, then brainstorming, brain mapping. Yes, 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 Samita. That's how you go ahead with it. In terms of presentation, in the very first paragraph, whatever, like, suppose you're coming up with quotation or story or definition or any version of it. The moment you start opening the context, like let's say you've written an anecdote or a short story or a conversation or a quotation, next para will be opening the context, how the quotation is relevant, or how the conversation is relevant, or how the short story anecdote is relevant. Fine. After opening the context, as you start substantiating, in the process of opening the context and substantiation, it will be advisable to all of you that go ahead with, I would say, when you're opening all the given subsegments related to the given topic, it is advisable that bring in the insights pertaining to all other dimensions that you have studied related to the topic in different, we can say, Amartya Sen is economist. Yes, he is economist and philosopher both. If you read his bio, or his how he is introduced, you'll find he is introduced as a economist and philosopher. That's how he is professor emeritus for so many universities. He is an expert in two disciplines. All right. So when you are like, Samhita, you are opening the context. After opening the context, there only, this is for all of you, there only open the point of debate. Why the topic is debatable, why we can support the dimension, and how we can counter the dimension, and then give a balanced statement, and then develop the content as per the suitability of balanced statement. What did I imply to say, all of you? Here, like for example, this was a simpler topic: men have failed, let women take over. Will you write the entire content on men have failed and women should take over? No, not really. So suppose you have given a quotation. After the quotation, you've opened the context of the quotation, how the quotation is related to the topic. Then after opening the context, then how men have failed, you can just say that this is a debatable topic, though there is a reality to the statement whereby we can say a lot of decisions or actions taken by men proves that they have failed. Yet as a counter insight, we can understand that saying that all men have failed or presuming that majority of the men have failed is also an imbalanced take. Similarly, let women take over. Women and men should be competent participants in development. Let not either of them take over each other. Let them both participate as per their potential and caliber. And let all of them get an equal level playing field to participate, to realize their strengths, irrespective of their gender identity. None of them should suffer in terms of building their, like let's say, none of them should suffer in terms of building their skills, in terms of building their, we can say, insights, to become truly empowered. Fine. I hope all of you are understanding this. So men have failed, let women take over. I hope that's making sense to all of you. Okay, so that's how you have to open the sentence, like statements and the sentence. Always open the context. In the absence of context, you cannot really build a meaningful engagement with the topic. So get into the meaningful engagement, right? Okay, let's move. Social media is inherently a selfish medium. People, la la la, what should be done with respect to this topic? Social media is inherently a selfish medium. Because of the word inherently, it is debatable. Okay, fine, good. Abhinav, how about the rest of you? There was a student who gave a very like wholesome insight, and I was like, yes, this is what has to be written. Is he still there? What was his name? um just a second. See, how this is how I remember. As per your nature of participation, he was silent all the time. He just wrote once. Yeah, Matloob. Matloob, are you there? Are you getting a better picture? Because this is what I said: being good is recognizable, being good is like wow. But the thing is, the worst, like enemy of being good, okay, of being excellent, is being good. Generally what happens is that when we are good, we fail to recognize that there is always a space and scope for becoming excellent. And it is then that we stop working. We take things in a generalized precision that, oh, this is the level I already know, or this is the level that I'm already, like, comfortable with. So finer breakthroughs, like, for some students, 10 statements that I speak, out of 10, 10 on 10, it might be like a win-win thing. Oh, I did not know either of it. For certain students, it would be like out of 10, 8 statements, like wow, I did not know majority of it, I only knew 2 perspectives. For some students, it will be like 4 perspectives, 6 perspectives, like I knew, 4 I did not know. For everyone there will be, like for everyone there will be a different level of breakthrough. Respect that. I have to take care of each one of you, each one of you who's having a good level of understanding. Like Matloob had a very precise statement. Very silent, very, like, within, like, his own composed self. But one statement, and I could see that, oh, power of language, precision, balance in thinking, correct words, measured words being given. That's the mark of a good student. But then there are certain creative breakthroughs, maybe some fact, some detail, some insight. So I was like, I have to take care of this child also, and children who are like overwhelmed by the statements and saying, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this topic. So I have to create a breakthrough for both of you. The experience and the journey will be different, but it should be thought provoking, and it should create a meaningful breakthrough for all of you in different measures and capacities, of course, as per your background and as per your level of academic exposure and maturity. Okay. Now, social media is inherently a selfish medium. Yes. Okay. So for profit and to increase their business, okay, fine, fine. They can do anything for their profit. Who is this they? All those students were writing they. Who is this they? Their. Okay, what else? What else? Selfish also makes it debatable. Very good. So inherently and selfish, both is making it debatable. Correct. In social media, the posts are always one, the perspective, the point of view of one's own post. Okay, all right. We can give a better frame of language for that, a better and sharper expression associated with that. Yeah. Yes, people. What else can we consider? Yes. Okay, for the topic, social media is inherently a selfish medium. Can you just cite one example to prove the same? That social media is inherently a selfish medium. Yes, people. Okay, business promotion can spread fake news. Oh, good. Terrorism, good. Social media has richly been a platform of self glory. Yes, true. A lot of fake details also. Agreed. I'll tell you the root cause, how it just started. All the more, like magnifying as a very big problem. The camera of the phone. Camera was never initially the prime feature of the phone. Phones were supposed to attend calls or maybe send messages. It was for communication. It was later that the world realized that this communication is also taking place through pictures, through videos. So when we realize that communication also takes place through pictures and videos, it is then that you suddenly realize this given possibility that uh, people, they started looking for cameras which are more profound, or cameras of phones. It became a prime feature, and like cheaper phones started coming up with high profile cameras. A lot of brands, they got established just because of the camera. You can see them, right? So, and why do we need the front camera? What is the purpose of having a front camera? So that even if there is no one to take the picture, you can click it for yourself, right? People like me who sometimes go on solo trips also. So if there is no one to take picture, like how will I fix my situation? So there are tripods, there are Bluetooth, like, devices, Bluetooth, we can say buttons. You can show as if you're walking casually, and you can fix your camera or your phone on the tripod. You can keep walking, and you can keep clicking the button, and the camera will keep clicking pictures, and it will seem as if someone else has taken it from the distance. So many devices. Why? You want to be captured, you want to be documented. People who are on Insta, I never went on Insta, that was the reason. Like, that's such a wastage of time. But all the people who are in Insta or all these social media handles, who are into like promoting different goods, standard of life, quality of life, products, brands, I mean, like all these given, we can say, handles, and all these given, we can say, channels, what are they exactly creating? So, the moment we are saying that social media is inherently a selfish medium, I hope all of you can probably reflect. I hope all of you can probably connect with this given subsegment. That social media is inherently a selfish medium. The moment we debate, the moment we like reflect and discuss the given dimension, we all can connect with this given statement that yes, social media can become a selfish medium. Okay, it can become inherently a selfish medium. Beyond doubt, this possibility can happen, right? With respect to self glorification. Counter. Yes. So fake beautiful pictures also. Subhash. Okay, all right. Yes. We can think of all those makeup videos and on top of it, like filters. I have never though used any of these filters, but I have heard that these filters can transform how a person was actually looking and how the person was presented by the filter. I've heard all that. Yes. Increased cybercrime. So very true. So very true. Yeah. So, fake news, post truth world, deep fakes, cybercrime, terrorism, like we can talk about bullying, media bullying, other than social media bullying, you can talk about, like this virtual world and how it is impacting the psyche of the youth, especially. You can talk about all that. Yes, you can connect it with TRP as well. You can talk about it with respect to a lot of online challenges which are bad for mental or physical health. ASMR videos are also there which waste time, right? So yes, something else, mental health problem. Yes, yes, yes. It can lead to loss of a lot of money. Cryptocurrency, you can remember that. You can think a lot of online games which need money. There was a case, no, from Punjab. A child ended up purchasing a lot of expensive weapons on PUBG or something like that, some battleground. I don't remember. He had purchased something, like he did an online shopping of like almost 50 lakh rupees from his father's credit card. He went on and on and on purchasing all the weapons. And when the father saw the bill, he was like lost. Okay, so my God, 20 lakh rupees. Boy, boy. Any amount like is too huge an amount. I mean, like a person like me doesn't even think of spending 2 rupees or 5 rupees also. Imagine. I mean, like this is the net worth which I consider it to be. Free games, it's okay. But anything beyond like I mean, the worthiness should be respected. I understood the importance of 1 rupee and 2 rupee as I traveled to Kolkata just couple of months, 3 4 months back. I was there in Kolkata, and as I was there was for a work assignment only. So there I purchased jhalmuri. And I was like at Elgin Road. It's a nice place. You have nice malls and stuff. Next to Elgin Road, people said if you want to visit traditional Kolkata, there's Bhawanipur. So I was like, okay, I'll just go. I went to Bhawanipur, and yes, there were hand pulled tongas and rickshaws, and there were a lot of interesting features, addas where people were playing carom board, and like traditional flower shop owners and stuff. Like it was a completely different world in itself. I really liked that part of Kolkata. Anyway, so not so posh, not so this, but it had all the old world charm. There, when I purchased some jhalmuri, which is puffed rice, so that fellow, I said that like how much, and he said that how much do you need? I said something like 50 grams or something like that, 100 grams, whatever. So he weighed it, and then he said 13 rupees. So I gave 15. And I thought that 2 rupee, who takes the change? Okay, so I just gave like 13 and I walked off. He called me and he scolded me, like, you come here. And it's like, huh? What happened? I was like, you take your 2 rupees. And he said that scoldingly. I was like, no, no, I don't need it. It's okay. You can keep it. Then he got so furious. He's like, why should I take your 2 rupees? Why should I take extra money from you? You keep your own money. I will charge how much is the money that has to be paid. I will charge only 13 rupees. You take your 2 rupees back. I don't need your 2 rupees. And I was shocked because here in Delhi, if you give 2 rupees to even a beggar, he will scold you back. You better take your 2 rupees back. I don't need it. So the contrasting worlds of India, two Indias in the same country. One whereby the 2 rupee was disrespected even by a beggar, and 2 rupees which is regarded. There I saw that in Kolkata, whenever the beggars are coming, people are still giving them 1 rupee and 2 rupee, and they are taking it with regard. Here, I mean, you cannot think of giving less than 5 rupee, and mostly you don't have the 5 rupee coin, so you end up giving 10 rupee also. Right? So that's what. वहां तो आप राजा बाबू बन जाएंगे. ठीक है? So I'm just saying this because when we are talking about and these real life versions, real life insights, if you have it, you actually understand the like diversity of this country, the colors and the beauty and the cultural expressions and all the rhymes and all the possibilities which is shaping this country to be what it is. Okay, so 1 rupee, the story of 1 rupee of this country. Anyway, so social media is inherently a selfish medium, for you can think of a lot of possibilities, a lot of facts, a lot of dimensions. Let us think about against the contrary dimension. How will you counter this, people? Social media has become a selfish medium as it is often encouraging self promotion, self centeredness, narcissism. Agreed, all that is there. Addiction to social media leads to loss of time. Yes, yes, yes. Agreed, agreed. Yes. I'm asking how to go ahead with against the topic, how to counter, how to create the possibility of against. Not always brings hatred, sometimes it provides justice to people. Agreed? There are so many instances in which we have seen that people have sought people's justice by making videos of policemen like going atrocious or being illegal, or indulging in bribery, or not following the laws themselves. That has happened. We can see greater justice during COVID. A lot of people's business revived when they were not getting opportunity. Then people on social media promoted their goods, their services, their wares. That also happened. The petition campaigns, yes, you can talk about the petition campaigns, awareness, yes, agreed. Something else, something else can be a tool of awareness, yes. Information, yes, so very true. Travel vlogs and food blogs, at least travel one I can say. People like me who are like mostly solo travelers, um not mostly, like couple of times solo, couple of times like with family. So when I have to travel solo, there are so many beautiful like blogs and posts and insights which are given, that which part of the world or town or city or like by lane is good, and what opportunities are being offered. And people like me who have no idea, no distant inclination, like get so much of insight, get so much of, I would say, awareness regarding what all possibilities could have been created, right? So that's what, yeah. Faster than news channels, yes, agreed. Nowadays many are depending on it as an income source, yes, very true, very true. Getting gold and silver titles, true. It helps to connect, we can say. All right, yes, with respect to this given subtopic, when we are discussing about social media is inherently a selfish medium, we can connect this topic associated with this given dimension also, that it can help us to connect with news, help us to connect with the information. Fake news, yes, yes, it gets busted also through social media. There are fact check channels also. Agreed. So yes, that possibility is there. Okay, poverty can be countered, yes, to get updated, yes. Great, great, great. So you're understanding what is a debatable topic. Hmm? You're getting now a flavor of it. So how about maturing to a philosophical topic? Now I think you are bit by bit ready to accept it. See, whenever you get a philosophical topic, first try to decode it. Decode it means don't go rushed up with the topic. Never rush up with the topic. Take your sizable time, 3 to 5 minutes only, to understand the topic. Like squeeze the juice out of the topic. Every single word or subsegment which is given, try to expand, substantiate, and break open all the finer threads which are of the topic. Then only you can understand the warp and weft of the topic. You understand warp and weft? New term, I used it. I know majority of you will be struggling with it. Warp and weft. That's how you build your vocabulary. So when you are weaving, have you seen weavers? So like weavers, they will, like this is warp and this is weft, the thread which is going inside. Okay. So this is warp and this is weft. And when you're doing the weaving, you're just putting a thread, pushing it, putting a thread like this, pushing it. So I'm saying that when you like understand the warp and weft of a topic, means how the concepts are getting clubbed, how the concepts, like the threadbare analysis as it is called. So threadbare analysis, when you are opening each and every micro segment of the topic, each and every, like, insight which is related to the topic, each and every possibility which can be hidden in the topic, that's what is associated with the warp and weft of the topic, right? And that's how you build upon your vocabulary. I had learnt this word uh, like couple of years back, 6 years back, for the first time when I read it in Rajmohan Gandhi's book, and then I forgot. And when I revisited the book, I like caught up with it. I was like, oh yes, yes, I had read this word, and how come I stopped using it? Again, I caught up with it. So that's how you keep building upon your vocabulary. It's an ongoing process, never stopping. It will continue till the time you are alive. You will keep consolidating new words from different subjects, different realms of existence. Okay, everything is going to nourish you and your journey. Now, getting back to this one, reality does not conform to the ideal but confirm it. What is conform? Then what is confirm? So, what is conform, people? What is conform? Yes, yes. Subhash, we can consider that also. TikTok videos and stuff. International affairs, Sian, yes. Getting back to the topic, yes, people, conform is thinking like most people in the society. Confirm, when you know, okay, confirm we know, but conform, okay, match, laws. So, conform is laws. Is it so? Okay, follow, all right, conform. Something more which we all can connect with. Yes, people. Something more that we all can connect with. Yes, everyone. Yes, people. All right, fine. So a lot of you have come up with like a lot of explanations. Conform. So you are saying that when you are complying by something, comply, like we can say according to, like towing the line, or we can say in line with, in symmetry with. So abiding by, in symmetry with, right? Now, with respect to this, so reality does not conform to the ideal, means reality is not according to the ideal, as per the ideal. What is ideal? Yes, what is the ideal, people? What is ideal? Do you understand the meaning of ideal? Model, okay. Benchmark, all right. So the ideal will be a benchmark, agreed. It will be something which can be also considered as a model, okay. The correct state, okay, the correct state. It will be the correct or the perfect state also we can consider, as Karti is also saying. So perfect, okay. Something more, can we consider it as best position, okay, best position. Can we connect the ideal will be associated with the values or the ethos, what is right, what should be followed? Can we connect it with values and ethics? Yes, okay, okay, all right. So reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms. What does confirms mean? What is confirm? Confirm, accept. Okay, approves will be a better word. Okay, approves. What else? Okay, defines, proves, approves. Okay, yes, yes, yet. Confirms, it approves, validates, finalizes. See how much you know. Okay, okay. Now here, as we are, okay, justifies, justify. There can be a hairline difference to the term justify. Hmm. So justify is when you, uh, it's not like justify cannot be used, but justify is something which can also be associated with, uh, when you try to prove something that, like, it is correct, whereas confirms may not be correct, but it is there. Okay, that's the hairline difference. Okay, anyway, so justifies I'm writing, but not in every situation. Yeah, evident, we can consider evident. Okay, now let's decode further. Decode further how? So we can decode it further by trying to understand every single word, every single term. So reality does not conform to the ideal, but confirms it. Right. So reality does not conform to the ideal. And then let us move ahead further and see this given dimension of but confirms it. So what is it? What is it, people? What is it? It completely depends on the speed of your thinking. People who are just like flimsily thinking, they will come up with the words like reality, which has happened. And people who are a bit reflective, that what is it used for, you will be arriving at like the ideal, not just ideal. Ideal means any ideal, there is a specificity to it, the ideal. So reality does not conform to the ideal, but confirms the ideal. Let us open the statement. Reality does not conform to the ideal, but there is a hidden possibility of reality confirms the ideal. Now you can see the full statement. Initially, I mean, just like an hour and a half back when I started this exercise, you saw this and it was like, this is so distant, I cannot really connect. But now you can start connecting with the topic. What actually is needed for philosophical essay is, as I told you, chew in little pieces. Chew the topic in little pieces and try to extract the juice of every word. Then pay attention to helping verbs, pronouns, grammar, impact of grammar, how it is helping you to decode the sentence. What does the sentence imply? That's what. So reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. Try to understand this. Reality is not according to the ideal. Okay, reality is not according to the ideals, principles, values, standards of the society. Rather, it is reality that is proving, validating, or finalizing whether the ideal exists or not. So, it is not ideal which is shaping the reality. Rather, it is reality which is proving whether the ideals truly exist or not. That's what the statement means. Now, in the initial go, you may not find it like, I would say, debatable. We will debate it little later. First, let us understand for the topic. Let us understand for the topic. It is only when you start digging deep, especially in philosophical topics, that the possibility surfaces up that, oh, it is like, debatable in nature. Yes, people? So, for the topic, what should we consider? Reality is not according to the ideal. Rather, it is the reality that is shaping the ideal. Yes, what can be created? associated with this one. Reality is not according to the ideal. Let us focus on this part. What is the reality which is not based on the ideal? What are the segments which we are experiencing which is not as per the ideal, people? Yes. Yes, people. Yes, what else? Technological development. Okay, all right. Something more profound which you all can connect with. Reality is not according to the ideal. Okay, the ideal is equitable distribution of resources. The reality is otherwise, that is unequal distribution of wealth. Very good, Samhita. Okay, so we can showing something which we are not. Okay, but here we have to come up with examples, no, Abhinav? So, like, let us say we will be first talking about what is the ideal and how the ideal and how the reality is a mismatch. So, reality, a mismatch of ideal. So, you have to recall some ideal and you have to talk about the mismatch. All right. So, like, let's say equitable distribution of resource. And here you can, in reality, you will see that inequality prevailing in the society, right? Think of something else. When we believe reality, most of them not feel ideal. Yeah, what is this most? We don't want, like, we don't want casual reflections, we want specific reflections, Balaraju. Everyone can understand that this is like most of the things which we are living in reality is not based on ideal. Every student can write this. We want, what are those things, what are those specifications? Talk about it. Okay, so the ideal is treating everyone equally, treating everyone equally, and reality is based on discrimination. And when we speak of discrimination, we can speak of multifarious ways of discrimination, like based on gender, we can talk about based on caste, based on religion, based on race, ethnicity, right? Race or ethnicity. We can talk about region, right? So in caste, you can talk about the angle of untouchability, discrimination, so all that, right? Okay, so yeah, budget we have discussed. Think about it, something more. Corruption free administrative system. Okay, so corruption free, we can say accountable, transparent, right? So accountable, transparent, right? And here when we are speaking of it, we all can consider this given sub dimension associated with the reality. What is it which we can talk about? So stage wise depreciating when it comes to distribution of resources. Okay, all right, we can speak of that. So in terms of reality, we can talk about, like, reality is definitely highly corrupt. We can talk about corrupt, we can talk about crony capitalism, we can talk about misuse of resources, exploitation of resources. So resources, people, everything, right? So we can talk about this furthermore. Okay, sustainable development, yes. All right, all right. What else? What else, people? What else can be associated with it? Equal pay in certain industries. Yes, yes. There is unequal pay in certain industries. Agreed. So that can also be connected with this ideal way of governance and actual way of the functions. Yes, yes. Male dominance. Yes. So male dominance, like, discrimination is like consolidating it all. Income levels, yeah, income level will always be different. Please understand that income level will always be different because no two individuals can work or perform equally. So let us never, like, how can I consider that, like, let's say a person, a teacher, like this weekend batch I'm taking longer session, but on an average I prefer, like presently I'm not able to exercise it because of certain personal commitments, but there are situations where, like, I prefer to take 2 sessions, not more than that. Now what can happen is that, suppose if I'm taking 2 sessions, okay, and in the process of taking, like, let's say 2 sessions, if it happens so that I am getting, like, let us consider I'm getting like really really exhausted, and I'm still going on, and I'm taking like the third session, suppose someone is doing like that, and the person is bringing justice, studying well, bringing in critical reflection. So why shouldn't that person who is teaching more number of hours be paid more than a person who's teaching, like, let's say 3 hours or 2.5 hours, right? Similarly, a doctor who is practicing, like, let's say for 8 hours, and a doctor practicing for 4 hours, and both are efficient, both are competent. I'm not talking about difference in skill and efficiency. Competently skilled, competently efficient, if I'm speaking about them, right? Something more. Okay, trusting others, believing others. Okay, okay, all right, Balaraju, think about it. Yeah, ideal is respecting sovereignty of a country, but in reality there can be also, like, yes, there can be, we can say, snooping, there can be spying, all that stuff can happen. All right, so ideal is doing hard work, reality is going lazy, as portrayed by Balaraju. Agreed. Okay, now, so you all are understanding this part. Reality does not conform to the ideal, but it is reality which is ascertaining what the society is truly living. Right? This is for the topic, right? Everyone can understand. Now you can build upon this given pattern. Talk about against the topic. Yes, against the topic. Yes, let us see. Against the topic, let's see who is coming up with the insight. Means, what will be the against angle? What will be against? Against will be that reality is according to the ideal, and it is the ideal which is determining the reality. Yes, what ideals are still prevailing in the society? It is the ideal, we follow it. It is a standard, and we believe in following it. Yes, people, let us see. Rack your brains, bring in the insight. Yes, cooperation in spite of great diversity. That's the ideal, and we live it. Okay, fine. So, secularism, okay, diversity and tolerance, so diversity and cooperation, they are ideals, and we are still following it, right? Something more. Economic status of India as a third largest economy. That's the ideal. That's the ideal you want to achieve. That it should be third largest. And I mean, like, that's not following flat. You don't have to talk about achievements. You have to talk about first the ideal standard, and then India following it, or the society following it. Respect, decorum, rules which one needs to follow, no matter if it's 21st century. Agreed, Ragini. What rules? Okay, what decorum are you speaking of? It is correct. I can sense it. I can sense it what you are saying. I can give the example also. But let it come from your side. Else I'm there to support you. Institution of marriage and family are still believed. Okay, institution of marriage and family are believed. But first you'll have to validate, no, how it is an ideal, why marriage is ideal, why family is ideal. And then you'll have to talk about it is still existing in reality. So how will you validate that? That has to be, like, discussed. Okay, rules in an organization, decorum in a parliament. Okay, so rules in an organization, decorum in the parliament are ideals, and reality is that we have to follow it. Okay, fine. So we can say code of ethics and code of conduct related to an organization, right? We can talk about decorum in a parliament. So decorum in parliament. We can also talk about something more. Hmm? Substantiating, Ragini, what you said, the term respect. We can take it in private lives also. We can talk about respect towards elders. That's not just an ideal, we also follow it. Anyone being disrespectful to parents, disrespectful to senior citizens, we don't trust that person. We don't feel easy to do business with that person or to have any kind of association or alignment with that person, right? So you can think of that. What else? What else can we consider? Yeah, people. What more can we consider? What dimensions can we associate furthermore? Yes. Furthermore. So India's ideals of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, very good, very good. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We can talk about, yes, Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi means guests. Okay. So Atithi Devo Bhava, G20 summit, you are connecting with it. So G20, and you can connect both. You can talk about Satyameva Jayate, right? You can talk about Ahimsa. You can talk about Satyagraha. So many terms, man, right? They are not just ideals. We believe in following it. Yes, equality before law, and we protect it through the legal system. Okay, integrated, disintegrated is there in secularism and diversity, Ragini, as you see the topic, right? Fine, all of you can see these dimensions. Reflect upon the topic. Reality does not conform to the ideal. Means reality is not according to the ideal, but confirms it. But reality is the one that is confirming, ascertaining, proving, validating that the ideals truly exist. So, first we are talking about for the topic that how the topic is somewhere correct. That the reality is the one which is like ascertaining the ideal. If the thing is not in the reality, that means the ideal is just a fake standard we are talking about, but not living it truly. And then we reflected upon against. And in against, we shared how ideals are shaping the reality. It's not that all ideals have become irrelevant. And it's not that reality is not based on ideal. There are a lot of segments to our reality which is guided by the ideal or which is shaped by the ideal. Right? Is that making sense to all of you? Are you able to understand debatable essays with respect to philosophical topics? This is the most tricky part when we are talking about it. Debatable essays, being philosophical in nature, because majority of the students, they struggle with this given dynamics, that how to bring in the insight pertaining to debatable essays, how to bring in the insights related to, like, philosophical topics. First we are not understanding, and then like getting into the game that first understanding that this is the topic and then thinking, oh, there's a counter argument to it. How do we write the intro, body and conclusion for debatable topics? Abhinav, I did discuss few minutes back. It seems you got dissociated or disconnected or you zoned out, either of it. For debatable topics, I shared this, and that was Samhita who had asked this previously, and almost, I would say, almost 45 minutes back. Okay. So I had shared this, that first and foremost, whenever you start with a debatable topic, whatever is the context, you suppose it's a quotation, I said, suppose it is a story, an anecdote, or conversation, whatever you're starting it with. After writing that, open the context, that why the quotation, or what is the story, or what is the conversation, whatever the mode is, what is the question, context of it, how is it connected to the topic. First you open the context. After opening the context, I said, in the next para, immediately just write that the statement is debatable. There are two alternate realities to it. And after that, in one para, write down why the statement is partly correct, how the statement can be validated, what are the realities associated with it. Then change the para, write down what are the counter arguments, what are the limitations of the statement, what are the segments associated with it. Then arrive at the balanced insight that yes, many times are there when reality is not according to the ideal, and then go in greater detail now. And then a lot of situations when ideals are shaping the reality, go in like at length, you go para after para, various segments substantiate it. Towards the conclusion, say that reality and ideal, why, like, how they influence each other, how reality can shape the idea of ideals. Like the ideals that were existing 100 years back are not the same ideals we are following today in various walks of life, because culture, customs, traditions, as they change, so do the ideals. But then there are certain universal principles, universal ethos we do not compromise with. They are time tested principles, okay, which are based on pragmatic, logical understanding and solution, and we abide by it at all times in any given possibility or situation, right? And after like writing that given segment, you can discuss henceforth ideals and realities superimpose each other in different situations. Sometimes their relationship can be contradictory, and sometimes it can be complementary. And because you have discussed all of it, so when you're concluding this, it is more like a summative remark, and then you can give some quotation or something like that to put an end to it. All right, Abhinav, I hope you're understanding this. Is it ideal to oh no, you don't need to be sorry. I mean, like, you are in the process of learning. There can be a possibility that, especially this area, debatable essays and philosophical essays, very dense. There can be a possibility you understood it then, but the understanding was flimsy. You needed more assertion. You needed more discussion over that area. So maybe when I started discussing, you're like, oh yes, she had discussed, and then you realized when I started speaking again, you're like, oh yes, this is how it needs to be written. So there are times when repetition of the concept afresh with new examples, new segments, can bring greater clarity. Okay, so there's no harm in it. You can always ask, and I understand what is the psyche behind these situations, despite discussing what goes little wrong, and that is sense of comfort. The more I speak about it from different examples, different segments and perspectives, the greater the confidence you gain, the greater the clarity you gain. So I totally respect it, what you people might be undergoing. After all, you are beginners, kids only, 20, 21 year old, exposed to such topics, topics which are a part of your inside world, inside reality. But it's not a daily thought process that you are engaging in. Mostly you are into facts, figures, some newspaper, current affairs, teachers, like some, facts from different books. Philosophical essays or ethics paper in general, they just let you dig deep, delve deep, reflect deep. So suddenly the approach is different, and that takes you makes you feel like completely overblown. You're like, oh god, now how to handle it, because the approach is different, the content is different. So this kind of uncertainty is unavoidable. It's just that you can surmount it, you can always overcome it, and that can happen when you are going with the topic patiently, you're decoding it term by term, then you are trying to make sense out of the entire statement again, functioning with it bit by bit, and then things start settling down. There's an approach to it, and that is definitely done by practice. So feel free to ask as many number of times as you want to, because I understand with multiple repetitions and different sets of examples, it will fix your doubts. Moreover, sense of confidence. Is it ideal to respect someone on the basis of age just because she is born earlier than me? Or should we respect on the basis of values one holds? Agreed, Matlub. This is very true. Even I believe in this ideal or this principle that I cannot respect people on the basis of just because the person is having more gray hair than me, or just because someone has more added numbers to their age than me. Definitely not. But one thing which I do believe is that every human being ought to be respected, irrespective of the person's, we can say, academic background, irrespective of the person's, we can say, class, social position. It's not that we are respecting elders for the sake of gray hair. We respect it for the sake of the wisdom, the experience that they may hold, irrespective of the person, whether not so educated. I told you that my previous cook auntie, she was more like a parent to me, more like a guardian to me. And she gave me such simple, like I would say, solutions to life. जिंदगी के ऐसे मासूम फलसफे उन्होंने दिए, मजा ही आ गया. Like there have been different situations which a person like gets into, and in those situations the kind of simpler solutions that she used to offer, such a happy go lucky lady, never ever stressed, whereas she was a widow, and she became widow at the age of 24 or 26. Okay, and then she raised four children all by herself. She was an industrial labor, then she became, like, a nanny. From a nanny she started working as a cook. So her life, if you see, like, factually, objectively, you'll be like, oh my god, so much of struggle. But she was one of the happiest people I have come across in my life. Like, always chilling, always happy, like doing things, fixing things in her own capacity, never complaining on an average, never, like, having a grudge, like supportive to all, kind, nice human being. So there was a very, like, the possibility, the energy she spread was too great. So when we are speaking of this given possibility of, can people empower us, yes, they can empower us tremendously, tremendously, by their attitude and temperament, and senior citizens, when we are talking about them. Now here comes the angle: should I respect a person who's senior to me only on the basis of age? No, not definitely. But a basic sense of respect and dignity ought to be maintained. A basic sense of, like, sense of regard should be maintained. We can understand that, like, a child may be erratic. We don't expect that erratic tendencies coming from a senior citizen. But a lot of, we can expect that a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight, breakthroughs, suggestions effortlessly can come from seniors. That tendency to seek, the tendency, the curious tendency we hold in ourselves, the tendency to seek which is there inside us, with respect, it makes us seekers. When you are a seeker and exercising respect towards others, effortless giving and sharing can take place, right? So anytime, see, you have to take things from anyone, and you know that the person may be rich. Why the person may be rich? Because a lot of experience, wisdom, right, thoughts, values, a lot of things the person must have debated. So there is a fair chance that the person holds something which is extra than you, because experience is a very rich and vast area. And if I want to borrow that wisdom, if I want to borrow that example, that insight, like, the reflection, suppose a person has a wrong insight, at least when I'm listening to the wrong, I know what is right. So I have an example that, oh, this idea can also be possessed. This is also an alternate truth to the world. Until and unless it is not exposed to me, until unless someone is not talking or discussing that with me, how will I know that an altered truth is also existing? An altered perspective is also existing, right? So if you're a seeker, you respect knowledge coming from all corners, even from a child. Okay. And a person who has more experience, oh my God, there is so much more possibility to come. So there has to be a sense of, first and foremost, a human touch, that everyone should be respected. Second, experience should be respected. Third, by being humble, you can be a better receiver. Okay, I think, Matlub, your question has been answered. Yeah. So when we are writing for and against in a debatable essay, what can be the actual conclusion? The most balanced insight is the actual conclusion. The actual conclusion is, we are arriving at it from, we can say, what should be the, we can say, perfect or the ideal stand in that given statement. So that ideal stand or the perfect stand that you should be taking, like sometimes like men have failed, let women take over. So the ideal stand is to reject the statement, right? That's the ideal stand. So first you'll talk, yes, why the statement has been proposed, how it can somewhere be validated. But in the end of the day, let women take over, men take over, either of the statements is incorrect, right? So the balance stand is like, you completely refuse or counter the statement, right? Then there are some other aspects also. Statements like these: reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. Like on the face value it looks completely correct. When you dig deep, you're like, no, there is an altered truth. So what is the ideal conclusion in such a statement? The ideal conclusion, Jyoti, will be balancing the stand. That yes, sometimes it is like, the reality is the one which is proving the ideal, whereas we cannot negate the possibility that the ideal is also shaping the reality. So they both are superimposing and they both are supporting each other. And that's how you will be like creating a balanced conclusion. So the actual conclusion is actually up to the nature of debate, whether it is too lopsided, and that lopsidedness has to be rejected, and you have to present a counter logic and stick to the counter logic as the final conclusion, or whether the statement is having part truth from one side, part truth from the other. You have to extract the balance and create a balanced stance or a proposition. Is it clear, Jyoti? Okay. So you must be realizing that now bit by bit we are like heading to, just imagine, yesterday I told you, remember, yesterday all those students who joined at 12 o'clock, I said the person you are right now with essay, you'll be a completely transformed person in terms of all your strategies, approach, and now you're understanding choosing the topic 3 minutes. It is so essential to spend it, right? From extracting the like first, which one is most relevant to your domain of understanding. If there is a conflict, which one is having better sense of connectivity, creativity, innovativeness, connection with your past, wholesome experience of life. When you're choosing it, anything we choose has potential biases, so becoming alert to those biases so that you don't exercise those biases in the essay. Then after that, like memorizing the topic in letter and spirit. Right now we were doing that, we were memorizing this topic, and as we memorized, we repeated this topic on the loop inside our head. Bit by bit the topic started blooming. As it will bloom, there will be brainstorming. Brainstorming will help us with a lot of facts. With brainstorming, then we move to brain mapping, a lot of spherical expansion of the topic. All of this can take like 12 to 15 minutes, right? Then moving ahead, thinking of a possible introduction. After the introduction, running through the brainstorming, brain mapping points, and then suddenly you realize that how we can conclude this essay. So then proposing a conclusion. After the conclusion, again working on the order, that after introduction, what should be written, then later, then next, next, up to conclusion. So creating a tentative framework, that is organization of the essay. 7 minutes. Then writing the essay. After writing the essay, 2 minutes for polishing the essay, 2 minutes for calming down, relaxing, and detaching, letting it go. Anything which is marvelous and beautiful in this nature that is created has to be given up, has to flow out, has to, I mean, destroyed is an extreme word, but I would say that that sense of detachment and renunciation is essential. Have you seen the mandala art which the Buddhist monks they prepare? So with finer grains of colored sand, they create such intricate design of mandala art. They do it even there in, like, the president's house in US. They are invited annually and they prepare that mandala art. So it's like they are guests in the president's house. They stay there for almost a week and they keep preparing that art. The priests, they keep preparing that art. Like they just sleep, they just take little breaks, they eat. It's moreover of a meditative experience. Once that entire art is done, the president is there, everyone is there, the environment is too solemn, it's too like loaded with a lot of emotion and wisdom. Everyone is silent and just witnessing the situation, the beauty and the perfection of what has been created. Is that captured in the sense, do you like not disturb it, you put glue, you seal it up, you like polish it? No, nothing. You just observe it. Everyone is at peace, everyone is silent, everyone meditates. Like absorbs the beauty of the moment, the completion of that moment, the wholesomeness of that moment. And then, after a silent, you can say, meditative insight, everything is wiped out. All the colors, all the effort is blended, done. That's the final truth of existence. So you have to again, connect with that final truth also. Yeah, that's what life is. So 2 minutes to calm down, relax, and detach. Your mandala art, you have to detach whatever you created in so many number of pages. You have to like hold on to it. That okay, fine. I have given my best. This is it, right? So I think the person who entered in this class yesterday at 12 o'clock is a different person today by 8 p.m. Right? I hope all of you who have been a part of this journey effortlessly and continually without any break, or without any, like, let's say, like not being so regular. Those who have been regular, I hope you can sense the difference, the evolution that took place in your thought process towards essay. Because I told you that this is a 250 mark area and you cannot go casual, because 250 marks 2 days. It's all about like strategy, how to build that strategy bit by bit from micro unit to macro reality. And in this, strategy, as we are building up, there is a final evolution to it, that is philosophical essays. Before arriving at philosophical essays, there is a logical precision to it, that is, we can consider debatable essays. We cannot be like casual or dissociated with debatable essays, because this component of debatable essays, it can be there in simpler topics as well as complex topics. Simpler means more regular, you read it, you're like, it's wrong, or it's not complete. And complex, like these. Okay, so there is this one, the last topic of the evening. Customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. Before I discuss this, I would like to share, on Saturday, next Saturday, that is the coming Saturday, the entire session will be devoted to philosophical essays. All those students who could not catch up with the session at any stage, all those students who are not very thorough with, any stage, like let's say, yesterday you could not attend one of the segments or one of the sessions, or today you missed any of the statement segments, just watch the recording, finish the segments completely, bit by bit by bit, finish all the blocks, so that next week, like on Saturday, if there are any queries, any questions, you can raise it in the live session. I will be more than happy to assist you and explain the segments to you. And the logical corollary can be built. And when I'll be teaching about philosophical essays, with full focus and attention only on philosophical essays, no other subsegment to be wrapped up in between, because everything else has been done in the 2 days session. All the strategies, all the micro units have been shared. Okay, so how we evaluate the essay, that little unit is there, and philosophical essays. So when I'm focusing that, you should be able to, connect with it in totality. So anyone has missed out any session, please complete it. Now this one, customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. Hmm? You understand what is modern, people? What is modern? Yes, you understand what is modern? So how can we get our questions evaluated? Two sources. First, we have a team for that. So there are regular like tests also conducted, and there are like assignments which you can like follow. You can write your essays and you can get it evaluated. Students do mail it to the team. Okay, so all those exercises are like continually performed, conducted, so you can do that. All right, I don't need the translation, Nitin. Everyone knows that modern is adhunik. I did not need the translation. I needed the meaning associated with it. So, customary morality, you need my mail ID, Chituri. My mail ID is this, shweta.satya.singh. Okay. Now, with respect to this, modern. So, modern is what? It is rational. What is modern? It is logical. What is modern? It is based on broader human principles. Modern will be encouraging democracy. Modern will be, so broader human principles means liberty, equality, fraternity. Henceforth, it will be based on secularism. If you talk about history of modernity, it is associated with three movements: economic, political, and the period of enlightenment. So that is intellectual. So intellectual revolution is period of enlightenment, right? Period of enlightenment. Political is associated with French Revolution. Economic, it is associated with, we can say, industrial revolution, right? So when we speak of the term modern, right? So with respect to modern life, if we are reflecting upon the same, we can consider customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. You can think of this. So modern life, what do we imply by modern life? So we can see industrial revolution, French revolution, intellectual revolution, all these led to our debate and discussion: what is correct for human beings, what is the right way to exist, what are the best ways to exist. Cannot be too absolute. This is the point of debate. Customary morality. What are customary morality? Customs and traditions which give us a sense of right and wrong. Okay, this sense of right and wrong. And when the sense of right and wrong gets borrowed from customs, what are they? So they are called as values. They are emanating from the light of ethics, right? So customary morality, when we speak of it, customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life, right? So here for the topic, and then we can speak of against the topic. Under the component of for the topic, recall all the regressive traditions, customs, and beliefs. It can be based on, like, let's say, patriarchal values. It can be based on untouchability, all patterns of discrimination validated by customs and traditions, patterns of discrimination, which are validated by traditions or customs or beliefs, right? So we can just connect with all those given dimensions when we are talking about the segment of customary morality. So for the topic, why customary morality cannot be a guide, okay, for to modern life. So why it cannot be? So these, okay, and why? Because it can lead to imbalance, it can lead to injustice, it can lead to inequality, it can lead to lawlessness, it can lead to social disintegration. And when we are discussing about against the topic, customary morality can be, okay, can be a guide to modern life, can be a guide. How? Borrow the points from this, all this against points. So customary morality coming from satyagraha, satyameva jayate, ahimsa, right? We can talk about vasudhaiva kutumbakam, right? We can think of, like, all these words, all these segments. So you can just borrow that, okay? So you can talk about all the, we can say, traditions, insights, practices of the past which are still relevant, right? And with respect to this, we all can talk about, like, let's say, something more. So all the traditions, okay, which are still relevant, which are still meaningful, okay, which are still logical. So you can talk about it. So start with this Satyameva Jayate. You can talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You can talk about, like, Sarva Dharma Sambhava. You can talk about non-violence. You can talk about other principles, so on and so forth. You can keep substantiating. Yes, you can talk about relevance coming from religious texts, Gita, Quran, Bible, okay, Guru Granth Sahib, a lot of texts which keep guiding us with respect to the ethical principles, which is necessary in the modern times, all the more with all the chaos lying around us. Fine. So I hope all of you are getting a comprehensive understanding about what are debatable essays. And so far, whatever has been taught was well received. You could connect with it. I tried my level best to create within these 2 days. We will be further substantiating it in the forthcoming session, that is on Saturday, associated with philosophical essays. Okay. So thank you, all of you. Good night and take care.